All right, everybody. So here we go straight right into like the next episode here. As you guys can still be able to see, we're still doing the first quest here, where we're still doing the deck. I don't even know how to say the word. We're still inside this area here, and we're still looking around here. But remember, we can always be able to remember I always do want to thank everyone for tuning in here. And remember, there is a playlist in the description. And here we go.
You both seem awfully...
Only because after everything we've seen, we...
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Dan and mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know... But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danans again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dan. I know it's not as simple. Danans probably won't be so quick to let their guards down. And there might be Renans who still act superior.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300...
Yeah, I know firsthand, but even so, I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danan and a mage to help bring both...
Rinwell.
That great spirit worries me. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Renan...
Now that you mention it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really...
Maybe, but regardless...
We won't.
So, let's see here. How is Dola? Hey.
I still can't believe...
You're not the only one still trying to make sense.
Really? You've never struck me as the...
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memory started coming back to me.
It was really that bad?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else,
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my... That was no way to live. But all this talk about other races and the world ending...
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too...
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do, but that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you...
The thing that's most important. All I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me.
Not everyone is strong and...
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still... Law, you know you're strong enough to fight. And you're strong... Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of...
Yeah. It's like a fight to protect the people around...
I apologize for making you witness.
You mean hearing the origins of the...
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere...
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is...
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen.
That's just part of being alive.
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned...
When you say the other Renans, you mean...
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dan, putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis, or come down to Dana, huh?
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renan. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth, and the victims of our rule have absolute...
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people...
Menancia's fate was a stroke of good luck. There had been backlash over how it had been ruled, and I was blessed to have sympathizers among my ranks. Still...
But things can still change if you have the right people to help lead the way. Isn't that what you hope to achieve on Lenegis?
Indeed. On that note, I have something...
Oh?
I wish for you to serve as a mediator, so that the Renans can live on Dana as the one and only blazing sword. I suspect the Danans may listen to what you have to say.
And I take it that you'll be the one to...
Yes. I realize that I'm asking... However, The fact of the matter is that it will take time for Renans to re-enter Danan's society without any bloodshed.
You're this.
Is it too much?
No, relax. You get so tense and formal when you're asking for a favor. Listen, there's...
You're too kind.
That's some high praise, Alf.
Then I'll ask once again. This time just as...
You don't even need to ask.
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning.
What about you, Shion? How do you...
To be honest, right now, it's
How do you mean?
because for a really, really long time, I thought I'd die alone. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you. It's been going on for 3... It was Naori's hope. That's how it fell on us.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world. She considered me a Danan. I don't think she...
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff, like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace... She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own... That means forgiving other people. Even and especially...
Forgiving. So it goes both ways.
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past. If we have any hope of moving on and building a...
You know, you're right.
It's not going to be easy, but if we can do... I'm there with you, Shion. I think that's the very least...
Yeah.
Whoa there, Savior Girl.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Well, is everybody ready?
I am. There's a lot to think. I don't care who we're up against.
What are your thoughts, Alphen?
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit, it's trying to rob us of our entire world. That alone. But it's not only that.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegus,
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Shion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Shion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy. The one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction...
Shion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the great...
While the main body resides...
Shion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's great spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it...
The question is, how do we confront? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous. Large enough to house the will. The Wedge and Lenegus were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right.
And we only know about the Thorns connection.
Hevric 35 has been observing the great... It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it... Our minds are made up.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegus...
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renaissance stolen, Lenegus is functioning fine. If it needed us before...
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for.
More importantly, who do they think we...
I just hope everyone on...
Worst comes to worst, Lenegus is equipped with a large number of starships that people can escape in.
Wait,
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not...
Right.
Let me... What the... There we go. Okay, good. Nah, I gotta do all that. You see what's on the upper level? I'm gonna go back to the middle level.
Do you have your answer?
We want to ask something. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us...
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the great spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy...
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma.
Hold on. That's
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit.
What will happen to the Maiden?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall...
So it really will.
This method is the most simple.
What are our other...
There is little reason to consider alternative...
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world.
That's...
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit. 3. We have reason to believe the great spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides...
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, that is why it is necessary for... Without the Maiden's direct control over the great spirit, attacking it is futile, and...
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renus Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renus Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony. Considering that the Renus Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed,
What does that mean for us if you...
your starship will not be restored.
Why you?
Fine, then. I'd rather stay...
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, we want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may,
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renus Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renus Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on land.
It is likely that the Renus Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive...
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena.
So right in the middle of that giant
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already into... What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it...
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight.
Havrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all. Fix our starship.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake. Remember that.
It matters little to me. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, Is it too much to ask for Hevrick 35 to talk like a normal person? I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated stuff.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him. Now all we have to do is rest up and wait. Once the Fall Knights is good to go again, we'll be taking off for Rena right away. Is the Rennis Alma really our only hope against the Great?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience. Couldn't we make use of that?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe. And with the amount of energy we're talking...
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that...
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget it. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to...
Hevrick 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details, so it's...
You're probably...
We're gonna rest.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans...
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan...
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on.
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do...
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans, not as slaves. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still... But we knew that not all of you were like that. When it comes down to it, Renan...
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach.
Yeah, it is. When you But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking...
I understand what you're saying, but realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able...
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find... If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something...
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope...
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this...
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menens.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always... Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I...
Don't even mention it. And really, when you think about it, now that we know the two of us aren't so different, don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't...
Yeah.
Give him a kiss.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there...
Well, so I wanted to apologize.
Apologize?
I was being real stupid before. About whether Dana's will had been controlled. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if some... So, I'm sorry, Rinwa.
No, Law. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us?
Yeah, I think that might, but I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live...
When we rescued Zephyr and and I finally decided to come along with you all. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning. Even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and it made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost...
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rin.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here? That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else. I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like, but I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside, in a way, doesn't...
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's
Yeah.
Heverick 35 might know the answer, but... You know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing. To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will, I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and... never mind.
No.
Saying, I don't remember. No,
Thinking?
that's not what I'm...
Honestly, just need to kiss and then get it over with. There's 3 couples inside this thing.
Are you sure you don't want to get some rest?
I can't. I've got too much on my mind.
Same as you. Still trying to
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened...
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword, or I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as...
Hey, Alphen?
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, like Heverick 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body and Rena. I need you to promise me, Alphen. You'll use the Blazing Sword to destroy the Great Spirit.
Huh?
It's true the Blazing Sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts.
You can't be serious.
Listen, the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it. But I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared, but if it comes down to it...
Okay, but you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I hope you can forgive...
Alphen, okay. I understand. So it's a promise?
Yeah.
I remember how I felt the first time my thorns made any contact, a mistake no one would ever make twice. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, I don't have words for the shock.
That's because I couldn't feel pain.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep it still. I hate having to see you suffer.
You won't have to worry about that.
You think so?
I do, because I...
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone.
Everybody get enough rest? You ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat...
We're fighting for a new future.
Right. We've come this far.
Then let's go, everybody.
Repairs on your starship are complete.
Is that you, Heverick 35? You can see it?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of...
Sounds like someone's a peep.
Maybe we should give Heverick 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought...
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait.
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface.
So, once we reach the shell, It appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by...
We gotta go all the way down.
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all...
The extinction of my people is inevitable. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit?
Well,
Hold up. Did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last...
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the...
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? Why have you two continued to persist?
It's hard to explain. All right, time to get back on the phone lines.
We're gonna go here, and then before we leave, I am gonna save right here, and I will be doing the next area. I'll be doing the next part in the next episode here. So I do want to thank everyone for tuning in here, and I'll see everybody in like the next episode.